Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at our coronavirus names. We're going to start with APT as usual. On APT yesterday, we saw a big green candlestick, and we were looking toward 2165 as the first resistance. The problem was that bulls just could not hold on to the gains during their after hours and pre-market. Today's candlestick, we see a little bit of red with a big upper wick showing that volatility. And the question that we have to ask is this sustainable consolidation, or is this a red flag for bulls? On the daily time frame, we don't get that full picture. So of course, we need to zoom in and take a look at what's happened on the sub time frames. Our key resistances are still 2165, and then from our daily chart we have 1875. On the 4-hour time frame, so far this doesn't look too bad. This is a 4-hour trend. We were talking about consolidation being necessary yesterday, and we said anything over 1155 would be good, healthy 4-hour consolidation. So far, we've seen this low at 1380 as a potential low for the 4-hour. Bulls to hold a higher low. If they can move back up toward 1875, this will be a perfect 4-hour trend development. If they fail to do that, then 1155 is going to be that support level. So far on the 4-hour time frame, this is okay. This is no real red flags. This is exactly what we want to see for a long-term healthy trend development. On the hourly time frame, gets a little bit dicier. Now this is a little bit dicier because here's yesterday's trading action. So we see that strength continuing into after hours. We see a little bit of a shooting star here, capping off the high of our after hours pre-market session. Then we get into an hourly downtrend with a new low and a lower high into a tightening range. So what is interesting is that 1875 and that new lower high, as opposed to our pre-market resistance, which is going to be a new number for us to look at, 1974. So going into tomorrow, bulls have 1875, 1974, and the ultimate target of 2165 acting as resistance. We are in a 4-hour uptrend, but we are in an hourly downtrend with quite a bit of spread. Bulls need to get back up above 1875 to change this hourly trend and lock it in back toward the bulls. So right now, it's pretty much anyone's game. We've got a low, we got a lower high, we got a higher low. We don't really know what's going to happen. Not a lot of clarity on the hourly, but the 4-hour suggests that we're going to see upside. Now, if we lose 1380, that's going to be a confirmed hourly downtrend with our lower lows and lower highs, and then we're going to be looking for 1155. The only way to change that story is for the 15-minute bulls to make a real good decision here, and that would be to establish a more concrete uptrend. But still, the next resistance, 1875, we dropped pretty quickly, pretty fast. We almost got overbought. Let's check out the 5-minute time frame. And there we are, bulls doing a nice 5-minute uptrend. They pick up the speed, get overbought, try to consolidate, but not quite a flag. And then we just drop into a nice EMA 8 bounce, and then a 5-minute downtrend into the end of the day. So right now it's all about this 4-hour trend. Can bulls hold things together, establish this as a higher low, and move on to retest 1875 resistance? LAKE on the daily, let's see how this one looks. Somewhat similar in the sense of this big green candlestick yesterday, failure to make much in of advance, and right now I'm still all about 1880. This is an indecision candlestick, wild volatility. Again, we need to investigate that story, but if bulls are going to continue, 1880 is going to be a major target for them on the short term. 4-hour time frame, not as pretty as APT's 4-hour trend, but we are looking at higher lows. Our last low is down here at 1507. I don't like how close the bears got to breaking that level, but they have the possibility of heading back up toward 1880 and trying to break that resistance. On the hourly time frame, we can see that we are facing an hourly trend change. If we fail to break 1880 and come back down and break the low of 1536, then we're going to confirm that hourly trend. Right now, there's a possibility for equilibrium. There's a possibility for trend change. There's a lot of volatility here. And even on the intraday candlesticks, there's quite a bit of volatility back and forth on the 15-minute time frame. Big volume with no follow through. Pretty interesting stuff. Lack of clarity on most time frames. So it's all about the 4-hour and the daily, again, for LAKE. CODX on the daily time frame. Let's check that out. So let's just clear our charts and start fresh. So yesterday's candlestick, we talked about this big drop. We talked about how the bears should be exhausted by the time that they push the price down here, and the bulls have answered back. And what's interesting about these candlesticks is, and as I explained in yesterday's video, was it's that point of exhaustion where the bears push down, bulls are able to respond, and bulls should not be able to respond like this if bulls are still present. The only issue I have with this candlestick yesterday, and I still have this issue, real lack of volume here. On today's candlestick, we see that momentum continue. We see a little bit of a battle back and forth, rejecting from our EMA 12, 8, and 26, but still grinding that 8. On the 4-hour time frame, we are still looking at a 4-hour downtrend. This would be the perfect place to carve out a lower high at 893, and then we would look back down looking for a 15-minute trend change and come down to test our support when the 4-hour time frame is currently 681. That's our low. If we get anything under that, just going to be confirmation of that 4-hour downtrend. On the hourly time frame, bulls are doing their best to hold on to the slight upward trend, and what we're going to look for that beginning inkling feeling of a 4-hour trend change would really be for us to lose this key support at 1815. That would be a confirmed 15-minute trend change that would go from bulls to bears. If that indeed does come to pass, then we'll have a very good hourly downside move, and we have hourly support at 765. If that fails, then we keep moving up to the time frames. If 765 fails, then we're back down to 681, and then we're confirming that 4-hour lower high at 893. VIR on the daily time frame. Bearish momentum continues today. We see a good push to the downside. We knocked out our daily support level at 2741, but we see bulls buying that dip a little bit. So again, we're gonna have to investigate what happened when we broke 2741. Did we just blip below and bulls slam the price right back? Did we stay under there for a while and develop a new important price point? We don't know for sure until we investigate. But we have 2741. I would still consider an area of support. Today's low is 2712, so a little bit off, but something to keep an eye on the daily time frame. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, we can start to see that we are indeed in a 4-hour downtrend. And what I'm trying to find out now, and I'm looking at this in a few different ways, is can I see a wedge developing, trying to make a case for it. And I don't think I'm going to be committed to this, but I would look for something like that. And then I'm looking back here to see if there's anything that fits, and I just don't see a case for a good wedge. Not at this point. Maybe that will develop, but I am looking at a 4-hour downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, key area of support. No real follow through on that break. Hourly downtrend. So what I'm going to look for tomorrow is, can bulls maintain this area as a support? And if they do, can they break this key level for me? 2986, which is going to be an hourly resistance level, and I'm also going to be paying attention to 2944. Basically just watching what happens when we get to these levels, because if we can get an hourly trend change, it's possible we can have a short-term bull move that would help us. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame here. If it loads. Oh, that just takes all the momentum out of things, doesn't it? Come on. All right, well, we'll move on, but it should be a 4-hour uptrend. See if we can come back to VIR. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. Daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, hourly? Yes, okay. So if we can break 2944 and 2986, what that would look like would be our low, breaking that level, go back to the 4-hour, then we have the possibility of changing the 4-hour trend by getting over top of our EMA 12, EMA 26, establishing a new 4-hour higher low, and then changing that trend like that. So it'd be an hourly counter trend into a possible 4-hour lower high. But at this point, that's what you want to see. You want to see your 4-hour hit a new low, then we want to see a lower high. That lower high will come in the form of an hourly trend change, so you can ride that short-term swing with that expectation. On NVAX saw a little bit of indecision following yesterday's indecision candlestick, and today is again another indecision candlestick. We go to the weekly, it's going to be a spinning top, and we are midweek, so one more day left. But ultimately, we are holding EMA 8. What I don't like is the fact that we lost a low of March 31st, which was 1325. Again, not a lot of follow through, so that is good. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, we have lost 4-hour lows. So this was our last 4-hour higher low. We've lost that level, and now we're looking at 1325, possible base of support. But what you can start to do at this point is look at this low, high, lower high, and that is the psychology behind a head and shoulders type pattern. Now this is ugly, and I would not be really confident in calling this a head and shoulders, but the idea is the same. You get your confident high, and bulls are expecting another confident high, and they don't get it, and instead we get a bearish response. So we are in an hourly downtrend. We've lost key 4-hour support levels. The only way bulls can really hold this together is if they get back down to 1325, confirm it as a solid support, and then look for an hourly trend change, in which case we're going to need to see a higher low above that drop today down at 1321, come back, establish a higher low, and then get a new higher high over 1399 and try to hold things together and establish a new trend. Otherwise, we're going to be looking for more downside with our next daily support way down here at 1140. Anyway, that's it for today. It was a lot of fun. I love doing this analysis. If you like charts as much as I do, or maybe even more, just check out our website, TheChartGuys.com, or send me a message on YouTube. I love talking about this stuff. I'm really, really fun at parties. So there's that.